Hi, it's Kim Krause-Schwamm, and I'm going to be talking to you now about the four different types of offers. I'll be giving you some specific examples and how you can use them to send your marketing results soaring. So, let's get started. All right, the first type of offer that you see a lot that's used in direct response is good, better, best. And you could just have two options, good deal, best deal, right? So it's the classic offer used for supplements or skincare. Get one bottle or one jar, the trial offer. Doesn't sound so hot, just sounds okay. Not too much of a commitment, right? Three bottles or jars, better or great deal. Six bottles or jars, the very best deal. And this could be, the deal gets better because the pricing gets better, there's a deeper discount, and or maybe there's more free bonus gifts that you get, right? You could also use this for like a subscription, right? You could have the good deal 1 year for just blah, 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 3 years for just that, lifetime, right? You could use it for a membership, gold, silver, gold, platinum, insurance or other products, right? Regular or VIP, right? Everybody wants to be the VIP, right? So there's different ways to connote different levels. The biggest advantage is it's a great way to increase your average initial order, which is very important, especially when you're out buying traffic. You need to be able to break even or at least make enough money so that you can continue scaling your offer or your business. The biggest potential disadvantage is it can leave your prospect stuck deciding between options. I mean, having choices isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it can leave your prospect, you know, spending time figuring out which one to do, and then they end up doing nothing. All right, so let's look at an example of a good, better, best offer. And to do so, I'm looking at the order form. This is an order form within a direct mail sales promo, but you could basically have a similar structure, on an online sales order page. Okay, so first off, take a look at how the best value offer, it not only comes first, but it has recommended next to it. So there's all these different things we're doing here. Best value, send me 6 boxes of Circo 2, blah, blah, blah. Plus you get 12 packages of the test strips, right? So even more of the bonus. And, also notice how it dimensionalizes the savings at the top. Claim up to $50.70 in savings, plus get free test strips. That's at the very top of this order form, right? Well, that comes from that best value, right? You're highlighting up to. So yes, you could save only $10, but you could, save up to $50.70. So that's the one you highlight. And in the best value copy, it says at the end of it, I save $50.70 off the regular price, right? So this is written in the prospect's voice. Send me X, I save blah, right? All right. And then we have the great value, same thing, dimensionalizing, I'll pay only $134, blah, 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 or I get free shipping, I'll save $15, right? And then the trial offer. And then this one, we have a fast response free shipping offer that's highlighted in its own boxes that applies to any of those different options. And also just the acceptance copy, that's what I call the copy that's right after that. Yes, Dr. Zan, that's the product spokesperson. I want to take control of my blood pressure naturally while enjoying more energy, better circulation, and a sharper mind, right? So it's restating the main benefits. Please rush me, Circo 2 is indicated below, along with my free test strips, etc. I understand if I'm not 100% satisfied for any reason, I'll get a full prompt refund under your empty box guarantee. So it's referring to the guarantee that's been clearly stated elsewhere in the promotion. All right, here's another example of a good, better, best offer. Okay, this is for a supplement called Advanced Memory Formula. So notice how the best value offer, we're calling it best value, comes, first, and there's a gold seal that's emphasizing that it's the lowest cost per bottle. And that helps visually kind of set off that high price point or seemingly high price point of $179.70. We're also structuring this as a buy six, get two free, or buy three, get one free, right? So that is, being another way of, instead of saying, buy 8 bottles, it's like, well, let's make it 6 bottles plus 2 free. And now it sounds like you're getting 2 free bottles, right? And it basically would have come out about the same price discounted. Okay. And then the guarantee is featured in that red call out at the top as well, using some call outs here. We've got the savings and free gifts in the subhead. Save $139.90 and get 3 free gifts with our best value deal, right? Always featuring that best value or best deal. And then the value of the free reports is stated along with the titles to clarify the offer. So again, I think it's good to restate them if you're using them here, because it, you don't assume that people remember when they're going to the order form all those things. Just reinforce it. Okay, here's yet another example of good, better, best. So this one uses many of the tactics that I've shown you already, but it also does some other things. So here it is also using that it's doing a buy X, get X free structure. So buy 3, get 1 free, or buy 5, get 2 free. It's summing up the total value of the savings and free gifts for both. And it's offering an incentive to call your order in to maximize upsells on the phone. And again, this is assuming they have a competent inbound telesales team to take that call and not end up killing the sale, but be, to be customer focused salespeople, right? You want that first initial interaction with your company, if you're using an inbound sales team, to be very positive. But ideally, you also want to use that to enhance the number of upsells and cross sells. All right, so good, better, best offer do's and don'ts. Do structure the offer as much as possible so that the most expensive option looks like a no-brainer and makes it stand out the most. Again, think about some of those examples that I just showed you. That first one at the top, it looks like a no-brainer. Like, why would you not take that one? Buy 5, get 2 bottles and plus 3 reports and the free shipping. You're getting everything, right? If you go down to great value, you're only getting 1 bottle free and you're only getting 1 report, right? So make it look like a no-brainer. Oops. Sorry, jumping ahead here. Don't have too many different choices. 3 is the absolute maximum, plus any fast response or call-in bonuses, right? Don't go beyond the 3 options to choose from and then maybe 2 other kickers, right? Like fast response. And you can have more than 1 fast response, but just kind of lump them together. Like, if you order in the next 7 days, you'll get these 2 free reports, right? I once, years and years and years ago, I remember writing a promotion for a supplement business that was actually a launch from one of the big publishers, and they had the 3 different options, and they also had an auto ship option, and and it was just too much. It definitely suppressed response. Okay. Do demonstrate the savings in a way that simplifies the prospect's decision. Okay, so either it's a big dollar amount, or they're getting up to, they can actually, you can say that in the options, like buy 5, get 2 free, or you could even say, like at the top of the form, get up to 5 bottles free, or whatever the deal is, right? Whenever you can, do show the dollar value of any premiums or free gift incentives and the lowest cost per bottle or jar, if applicable, right? Because don't make them do the math. That's how you overcome the objection to the $179.80 price point. Oh, you mean it's only $26.66 a bottle? Wow. When I compare that to buying 1 at $39.95, that's a no-brainer. All right. The second offer type I want to talk about is the solo option. And this is what we normally see, out in the world being used. We see it in direct mail, we see it online, we see it in, websites, we see it everything, right? So it's just 1 price per bottle or jar. So the biggest advantage is that it can boost your overall response because it simplifies the prospect's decision. There's only 1 choice to make. Well, kind of. I'll get to that in a moment. And it doesn't potentially scare away sales by having an expensive best option, because again, that's a risk. They end up on your, at the end of your sales page, or they go to your order page, and the first thing they see is $179.80. Forget it, right? Potential disadvantage, though, it can lower the average order value if you don't have a strong sales funnel in place or inbound sales, right? Because you might be like, I'll just get one. There's nothing there that's making them, incentivizing them directly to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get 6 of these babies. All right, let's look at an example. This is for a sleep supplement, and I think it's from Healthy Directions. Okay, so, and it's simplifying the decision process for the most part, because it's just one price, only $19.99 per box of Sleep Answer pills, whatever. And that's come in like little snap packs or something, right? But the prospect still has to decide how many boxes they want, right? So it's like, do I get 2? Do I get 5? And for some reason, there's a limit of 6 boxes here. Now, it might be that that's a way to suggest ordering 6 boxes. It kind of puts a limit on how much they'll order. Although it is highly unlikely the first time somebody orders it, they're going to say, I want 10 boxes of this thing, right? Especially something like a supplement that can potentially, get outdated, right? So yeah, it's a nice subtle way of giving them a nudge and making it feel like, wow, maybe I better take advantage of this introductory price, because, the regular price has a strike through. Right above it, it says special low price introductory offer. So, there's already planting the idea that you want to get maybe 4 boxes. But again, it's giving you that option rather than 1, 3, or 6. Sometimes you just want 2 or 4. And the prospect gets all the bonuses, whether they order 1 box or 6 boxes, which again, they're not working for you to increase your average order value. They kind of lose that leverage when you present them this way. There is a fast response bonus in here, and there's also a free gift for call-in only. Call toll-free, place your order. You can see that on the left. All right, so solo option offer do's and don'ts. Do leave a blank to allow ordering more than just one at that special sale price, and encourage the prospect to do so in the closed copy. So you can plant that idea even before they get to that form or that order page. Do build the perceived value of the offer with premiums and free gifts and other incentives. This could be the fast response, the call and only, those are the other incentives. But yeah, you can also, obviously in your closed copy, and we'll get into this, you're going to build the value of that sleep supplement. It's got all these different ingredients, and if you were to try to do it yourself, or take all these different ingredients, you'd end up spending 5 times more, right? So you're going to build the value of the product or the offer, but then you're also going to sweeten the pot with the different premiums and other incentives. You do want to make that special price and bonuses seem like a no-brainer, right? So let's take a look at our example. I mean, for just $19.99, you don't even have to pay shipping, as long as you're doing within the 7 days. You're going to get a bottle at $5 off, and then you're going to get all these freebies worth, do they have a total value here? That's kind of I don't see that. So do the math for me. Total value of, let's just say it's $45.99. I don't know, something like that. Don't make it look too busy or complicated. This is where it's really important to work with a good graphic designer. Use the solo option to your maximum advantage by keeping it simple. All right, let's look at the third offer type, continuity offer. Now, these are often used online for supplements, skincare products, membership sites, or premium subscription services. I mean, they're used for all sorts of things. Filter replacements, protein powder refills, etc. Known as till forbid, it's maybe a term you haven't heard before. It kind of goes back. It originated in the old Columbia Book of the Month and record clubs. I think it was Columbia Record Club. I remember being a member, or the Book of the Month clubs. You would basically have a really sweet offer to sign up, and this was all done through magazine ads and newspaper ads and direct mail. I remember being a teenager and signing up for the Columbia Record Club, and getting like my 14 records for some ridiculous price, but then I had to commit to buying one every month, and then it was like, $10 more when she factored in the shipping than if I just went to the local record store and bought one. And then you had to always let them know if you weren't going to order that month, or else they would automatically send that, this is our selection, and it could be some band that you hate, but you're still going to get it, and you're going to be billed for it, right? Or else you're going to have to hassle with returning it. So yeah, I mean, there's this whole history of things. My husband used to do this Javalia coffee offer, and he would always get like a free coffee maker, and then he would buy the minimum, required months worth of coffee, like maybe 4 months, and then he would cancel, and then he'd join again like 3 months later. I think we probably still have some of those Javalia coffee makers up in the attic. But yeah, the continuity offers have come a long way since then. Okay, the biggest advantages: they can increase your average initial spend, because in general, even if you've got a sweet offer to get them to sign up that first month, the average continuity is 3 months, and this can vary. But yeah, typically you're looking at 3 shipments. It can also increase the conversions if the first month or shipment is specially priced, right? I mean, if you give them a really irresistible offer, Now, there was a memory supplement, I think, years ago, that was doing a whole lot of promotion, and it was like, get the first month free, or maybe it was $1 or something, but they weren't as super clear about, oh, but you're going to be going right into this automatic credit card billing thing, right? Where every month you're going to pay $49 or whatever it was. And, they had some big problems. So that leads me very smoothly into some of the biggest potential disadvantages. I mean, first off, assuming you're crystal clear, which you need to be, you do need to be clear that it's an auto ship or continuity offer. You could scare off would-be buyers who don't want to commit to ongoing charges. I have a little funny story on that. About 3-4 years ago, I'm like traveling on vacation, and I noticed that people, this is when I used to sell some of my control promos as individual PDFs for like, $39.95 each, right? And I had one for a sinus supplement that I wrote that was a control. And I think we'll see this offer or similar offer by Green Valley later, but they had, they use an auto ship offer up front where you get, for $10 or whatever it is, you get 2 bottles shipped, and you can take 30 days to decide if you like it or not. And then if you decide to keep it, they're going to basically charge you for a 2-month supply at like $79. And it's all spelled out. But people would see that, and some people are like, you know what? I just don't want to commit. I don't want a continuity thing that I have to maybe call back later and cancel. So these people were Googling, my sinus miracle, and finding my, little tucked away, promo PDF that I was selling, and they would order 2 of those. And I was like, wait a minute, why would somebody order 2 of the same promo PDF, right? So I knew there was an issue. I finally figured it out, and I just stopped promoting the individual ones, especially the ones that had competing continuity offers out there. But you have to, kind of gives you an idea that, I mean, while they do work, obviously if this is the control offer, it's been tested with other options, but you definitely can scare off people who just don't want to do that. And then worse, if you are not clear, and it can happen even if you are clear, you can end up confusing buyers who end up complaining to the FTC, and you can get yourself in some big trouble. And again, this happened to one of my clients years ago. It's the only time I've ever had an issue with any of the dozens and dozens of supplement promotions in particular that I've written. I mean, this is the only problem I have with any of my promotions that I've ever written. And it was not because of claims, making too big a claim that was not, fitting within compliance, FDA compliance, but it was an FTC complaint because someone had called in, they got upsold into an auto ship plan, and then they didn't realize, oh wait, I'm going to get charged this every month because you're going to be shipping it every month, right? So people were calling complaining, and it's an older audience, and the FTC came sniffing around, like, oh, what is this promotion that was sent out? And then it was like, oh, okay, we got to change everything, we got to tone this way down just to be super safe. It was a really hot control. They ended up not being able to mail it for several months, and it was a lot of cost and expense to the company. So in addition to me, because I wasn't getting royalties on that. So Yeah, it just pays to be clear and play it safe with these continuity offers. I think there's a whole lot greater awareness and understanding of them now because they're so widely used. But especially if you're going to a very older, much older audience, you have to be very careful. Let's look at some examples. So this is Green Valley, the company I mentioned earlier, one of my longtime clients. I've written several controls for them. And this is the vital force control that I wrote way back, I think in 2016. It's still being used. And their control offer is you get basically 2 bottles for just $9.95, right? And that's just for the shipping and handling. So it's like a trial offer, a 30-day trial. And then if you try it out for 30 days, if you don't want it, just send it back. You'll never be charged another cent. And then it gets into the details a little bit further, which I'll show you. But then basically what happens is if you keep it, they're going to charge you for 2 bottles, right? The 2 bottles at the regular price is $79.90. And then you'll be on auto ship every 2 months. You'll get 2 more bottles unless you hear anything. The till forbid, right? Until you forbid us to send it to you, we're going to keep sending it. All right. So this copy is the closed section of the sales page. So you can see how it works with the graphics to remove the risk of ordering, right? Risk-free, try now, pay later. And that red burst call out does that. The copy in the, what I call the CTA button, that green button that takes you to the order page, click here to try Vital Force without risking 1 cent. And then we have the 30-day trial graphic to the left in that blue bar. And then the copy within the closed section that really brings it home by using words like risk-free and no strings attached and reminding the prospect of the 100% ironclad guarantee, which is stated also within the closed copy and also on the order page. In fact, here we come to, we can only just see part of the order page here, but when you go to the cart, you see 2-month trial offer of Vital Force. And you're not paying for that. The shipping down at the bottom is $9.95. Your total is $9.95, right? And then the details are thoroughly explained. Now, it is smaller type. It's looking small because we're on a slide. But yeah, you have to kind of read that big block of copy, right? And it says, today you're just being charged $9.95. Basically, if you're not completely satisfied, call or email us within 30 days. You will not be charged another cent. If you want to keep it after 30 days, you'll be billed. For this product, it's $99.90. So basically like $49.95 a bottle. For your convenience, every 60 days. See how they put in. I didn't write this copy. This is their standard order page copy. For your convenience, so it's kind of like, hey, we're selling this as a convenience to you. You'll automatically receive the fresh 2-month supply. Right, for the locked-in price of $49.95 per bottle, 40% saving off the retail value. No obligation, cancel anytime, etc. So it's very clearly spelling out what's going to happen, and obviously, making it look as attractive as possible. But again, it is, it's putting the prospect in control. You read that, if you understand that, you know exactly what you're getting into. All right, here's another example. This is for a Cetra Vita anti-aging supplement that I wrote probably around the same time, maybe it might have been 2017, for New Market Health. And again, this is kind of their standard control offer. I was writing a new promo to go up against their existing control, so I was going with the same offer and structure and a lot of the same language that had already passed muster with all their legal department, so it wasn't like I had a lot of creativity there. But yeah, here's what you see when you, after you've clicked that CTA button on the sales page. It takes you to this page. And now here it's using some scarcity. I didn't write this copy, by the way. This is, like I said, their standard, approved, proven copy for the order page. It says, if you click out of this page, you will not have the opportunity to receive this discount again. So it's adding some scarcity. It's like, I've got to make a decision. You're trying to increase their, desire to just commit to it right then and there. Don't put this off, right? Simplified offer, it's just one option, $79.95 plus free shipping, great deal, right? 1 bottle. Not even going to say you can get 5 bottles because this is going to go on an auto ship. And the acceptance copy plays up all the benefits, the free shipping, and the guarantee, and it also clearly explains the auto ship, right? Great news, it's talking about, Yeah, so by paying with your credit card, it's on that third paragraph. You're enrolled in the free, no hassle, look at how it's selling it, auto delivery service. Find out more about auto delivery service. So, yeah, if you want to find out more about that, which hopefully you do, you're going to click and then go here, and it's a whole lot of detail. I mean, they're really explaining it fully. Um, so, and again, well, we've seen some examples of adding a little bit of like for your convenience and that kind of stuff of sales copy. Um, a lot of companies don't spend a lot of time selling you on the auto ship or auto delivery service. And, just give you a little background, like way back in the long, long time, before so much of this digital marketing, when I launched and ran the Healthy Direction supplement business and grew it to the equivalent of like nearly $40 million within the first 3 years in annual sales, you know, we we had what we called a personal delivery service. It was an auto ship. It was sort of a radical idea, and we really sold the heck out of the thing. I mean, we would sell it to upfront buyers, but we would usually wait till they got that first order, and then we would have a whole little mini campaign to get them to move them over into the personal delivery service, into the auto ship, and selling all the benefits, all the effortless convenience, and never have to worry about running out, and always getting the best price, always getting free shipping, all the things that we could do. And again, we've kind of seen a lot of offers move away from that, and it's just you just go right into this thing, and then unfortunately a lot of times people either don't fully understand what they've gotten themselves into, and they're wondering why they're getting charged and getting repeated shipments, which is worst case scenario, or they feel a tinge of regret. They're like, I'm not sure this is worth it, etc., etc. But if they go in feeling like this is what I want, and now I understand all the benefits, and I understand that I'm still in control, and I can skip or hold orders or change my schedule, whatever, I really think that it's worth selling them on all that, because you're going to have people who are more likely to stay with it, and that's the whole point, right? Is you want to get them into a continuity offer so they keep ordering and reordering and reordering, and you build that lifetime value of the customer, which then ultimately gives you the ability to scale your offers and bring in more new customers, because now you've got a lifetime value that's much higher. You're not just churning through new customers. Very important point that I think a lot of businesses just aren't doing enough of. So we'll just, you can read through all this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they're emphasizing how much you're going to save just in shipping alone. You're going to be guaranteed the low price, today's low price, never going to go up. I mean, God, in these days of inflation, that's really, a nice seller. And then it just talks about, the automatic shipping, the, flexible delivery, if you ever want to adjust your number of bottles or how often you get them, you can change it. Everything is crystal clear. Here's when we usually send them out. So if you call us for the 10th of the month, then, we can make those adjustments. And there's no strings attached. Again, complete removal of risk. You can cancel anytime or change the delivery schedule. And it also is emphasizing that you're going to get better results by sticking with it, which is another thing that we used to use a lot when I was, running Healthy Directions. We were promoting the auto ship. It's like, keep getting healthier, keep reaching your health goals, You don't want that joint pain coming back. All right. Continuity offer do's and don'ts. Do make an irresistible offer or create urgency or scarcity to boost sales. Do sell the service. I think I just talked about that quite a lot. The convenience or any savings, or the idea is you're just going to get greater benefits by sticking with it. Do make it as attractive as possible to commitment phobes. There are a lot of them out there. They're all trying to buy my promo PDF instead of the actual supplement. So, yeah, you've got to make it attractive. You've got to, overcome those possible objections. It's like anything else. What are all the possible objections to this particular auto ship offer? You overcome them. We've got flexibility, cancel anytime, etc. Don't try to hide it's a continuity or till forbid offer. It will bite you in the butt, just like I explained with a few examples here, real life company examples. Always be crystal clear that future shipments or billing will occur. You don't want any nasty surprises or the FTC sniffing around. All right, offer type number 4, the soft offer or bill me. Another kind of funny story from my long ago days at Phillips Publishing, when it was the biggest direct marketing publisher of newsletters. You know, Bob King and Tom Phillips. Bob King ran the whole division, and Tom Phillips was the founder of the company, and they believed very strongly that in cash with order only, meaning all these other offer types that I just told you, but you're always sending in money when you order, whether it's charging a credit card or whatever, right? And you know, the whole business was kind of built on that because you had only committed people coming in, and then they were more likely to become, you know, renew their subscriptions. They were more likely to become back end product buyers, whether it was supplements or air purifiers, whatever else we were selling on the back end. And then also the value of their list was among the highest in the whole industry. You know, people would pay, companies that did direct mail would pay a huge premium to mail Phillips Publishing's list because they were all like cash with order committed buyers. And so they were like the creme de la creme. So, you know, I remember in various management meetings and annual planning meetings, you know, the poor hapless marketer who was fairly new to the company, and this happened on a few occasions, who would say, yeah, we thought we would test a soft offer or bill me, and boy, would they get excoriated, literally excoriated in front of the entire marketing and, you know, management team, you know, by Bob or Tom or both. And so I just remember hearing those lectures. However, it's different strokes for different folks, right? There are companies like Boardroom, which is now Bottom Line, Southern Living, National Geographic. I could go on. All, you know, Rodale. Rodale was a huge, huge book publisher. Although I'm going to say, like, a lot of these companies are shadows of their former selves. But meanwhile, Phillips Publishing has been broken up and sold off into different bits too. So, but those companies kind of pioneered this idea of the bill me or soft offer. And so they built their whole businesses on having lots of people buying, but that's not necessarily sending cash with order, but being billed, say, 30 days later. You know, and they get like a free preview, a free look. And so that's where a lot of the type of soft offer that I'm talking about originated. So typically it's been used in direct mail. It can be used obviously online as well. And it is by these companies. But it means the payment is not made at the time of ordering, you know, versus a hard offer, a cash with order. It means the payment is made at the time of order. So it's typically positioned as a free preview or free look for a limited period of time, say 30 days, after which the customer pays when they're billed, or they have to return the book or cancel the subscription. So they have to take some action to not have to pay that bill. So the biggest advantage is you often get a significantly higher response than with a hard offer, right? So we're talking 8 to 10%, right, of people potentially ordering off a direct mail promo, which is huge. Whereas if you just get like 1%, you know, with a hard offer, that can actually be considered a really good response. All right, the biggest disadvantage is if you don't get a high enough pay-up rate, the promotion can fail or fail to beat the control. And the pay-up rate is what percent of those people who get billed, you know, who say, hey, they return their little card to say, send me the book, you know, bill me later. And when they get that bill, how many of those people actually pay that bill, right? And that can be a little difficult to influence with your copy, but, you know, if your copy is way over promising or the product way under delivers, then, you know, pay up may not be all that great. Also, it can depend on the quality of the list too. You know, if it's not a real good list, those aren't going to be people who actually buy. All right, so here's an example of a soft offer, and this is from a Bottom Line promo I wrote. This was after they changed their name for Boardroom to Bottom Line, and this is for a book, a Natural Cures book, Prescription for Natural Cures, right? So you can see, we call it a freebie card. You can call it really anything, but it's emphasizing that everything's easy, free, no money required, right? It's such a big part of this kind of offer. Send no money in big letters on the side of the card, right? So let's just take a look at, I just mentioned a few tactics. Let's look at some of the other ones. So the free reports get the main emphasis, and that's true throughout a lot of the promo, right? Because that's what's being sold or dangled as the bribe. It's especially important if you're selling a newsletter, for what I've mentioned before, because the content of the newsletter is ever changing, unlike a book. So you really have to sell the premiums. Okay, and then the book offer is positioned as non-committal and as risk-free as possible, right? Yes, please rush me my 8 free reports. Also send me Bottom Line's prescription for natural cures for my free 30-day home preview. If I decide to keep this book, I'll pay in 3 easy installments, right? So they're breaking up the price. They're not even showing like the price in its full form, full number. It's like, I'm going to get 3 bills for just $13.33 each, right? Nearly $20 off the published price, plus shipping and handling, and sales tax where applicable. And then, we also mention, in terms of removing risk, if I decide not to keep prescription for natural cures, I'll owe nothing and still keep my 8 free reports, right? And then the lifetime guarantee is also emphasized. So it's kind of a kicker. If you decide to keep it, you've got a lifetime guarantee. You can turn it any time and get a refund. All right, so soft offer do's and don'ts. Don't overpromise in the copy. Make sure every fascination or promise is delivered on in the product or service. Don't talk about the product price anywhere except the order card. And then even just consider stating it like 3 easy payments of blank. You don't have to even give them the total. Do make it seem as risk-free and easy as possible to say yes. Send no money. Simply tear off this card and mail it. Like, you don't have to even fill anything in. You don't have to check any boxes or make any decisions, right? Do use premiums and fast response bonuses to sweeten the deal, right? Fast response will build in some urgency. You want them to just act on it right now while it's in front of them. So, now that you know like 4 main offers that are used in direct response and digital marketing, start keeping a swipe file. Collect different promos, online and direct mail, that use these different types of offers. Study them and look for the tactics I've mentioned in this training, and look at how they're used, and if you think they're being used effectively, or if they're not being used, of some of the different tactics that I showed you, think about how they could improve the presentation of the offer, increase conversions, and boost average order value. And even if you don't write in a niche like supplements, books, or financial newsletters, you'll want to keep swipes from other niches on hand so you can study and apply the same tactics to whatever product or service you're marketing. All right, time to move on. Check out the next video in this module with different examples of powerful upsells, cross-sells, and downsells. And get ready to send your average order value soaring. I'll see you there.